Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again. Okay guys, so now let Hermes get dragged, okay? Because this was the original dragging videos that I was going to film yesterday, but then the price increase happened. So I had to let you know what's going on. Without further ado, let's get straight into the first story, which of course comes from FSH. All of today's stories are from TripAdvisor. I was like, let me try something different. Let me see what people are saying on TripAdvisor. Honey, Big H is being dragged all over the internet, and I am so here for it. So the first story is from Hermes FSH. It was written on TripAdvisor. It's way too long, so I read the whole thing. I've summarized it all up here, and I'm going to put an excerpt of something that the person wrote. So basically, there's a gentleman who said he was trying to buy a quota bag for his mum. So he goes to FSH. This is a recent review, so in the past 2 years. He goes to FSH, he actually got an appointment. So he goes to his appointment, he said that he was so nervous about it, he was thinking about it, it was a really stressful experience and all of this. Gets to the appointment and then he starts talking to the SA. I'm going to put the excerpt right here because this is the excerpt of the way he said the conversation went with the SA, so you can read the excerpt. In the other parts of the review, he says how, it was under 3 minutes. He was trying really hard to get the bag, and he felt like he felt like the SA was looking down on him. He was talking about how he knew that, SAs are trained to know who's a reseller or not, so maybe the SA thought he was a reseller. Now, generally speaking, we know that Big H does sell quota bags to men easier than to women. Guys, I'm not going to fight with people in the comments about this. This is a generally held thing that most people who follow Big H know, regardless of what part of the world you're in. Generally speaking, it is easier for men to be offered a bag quicker, basically, whether there's one-to-one spend or not. So at FSH, it shouldn't have been hard for him on paper to get the offer. So I was reading his story. He was saying, he said that he felt like the SA felt like the SA was better than him. The SA was also a man, by the way. And he just felt really belittled, and he felt like the SA was looking down on him. So I was reading this review and I felt bad for the person because this man is trying to get, quota bag for his mum, which is a lovely thing. But at the end of the day, okay, these SAs hear these things every single day. I want to buy this for my mum. I'm buying this for my sister. I'm buying this for my lady. I'm buying this for my wife or my girl. They just hear it every day, so I'm sure that they don't care. When I read the excerpt of him saying the bags that he wanted, we all know neutrals are really hard to get. If you read the excerpt, he did say that he wanted neutrals. I just kind of feel like this particular story reminds me of why sometimes you just get unlucky and you get an SA who just doesn't like you. And that's kind of how I see it. I don't believe the shenanigans that we are hearing about the stock that much. What I think is this: I think at the end of the day, Big H is a French company, sweetheart, okay? They need to have stock for their home country. And to my knowledge, they've been saving most of their stock for France for the busy holiday period and for the Asian countries as well, where Big H has invested heavily in Asia, particularly in China, in Japan, and in South Korea. So they're going to have more quota bags for their Asian clients, and they're going to have more quota bags for their home clients in France. And I think that when it comes to the FSH game, in my opinion, when I was reading the story, that particular SA just decided, I'm not going to offer you a bag. And I think that this is the problem. The SAs are like a sort of Oliver Cromwell kind of figure. They're these king makers who get to decide who gets a bag and who doesn't. And they are the ones who get to decide whether they're going to crown you, okay, and give you a bag or not. What do we think about this? Do we think that this is right or wrong? Do we think that it's unfair? I think that this particular client got unlucky, and I think that's just the nature of the game that's there. I felt really bad for the person, and I normally don't feel bad for a lot of the people who write these reviews, because some people you can tell are difficult. I felt bad because you could tell that genuinely this person was a real client, but they just came across an SA that just decided, look, I'm not going to offer you a bag. That could happen to me, okay? That could happen to you. What do we do in this case? So later on in the review, the client talks about how they went about to beg the person, can you go look again? And then also the SA kind of just in a rude way said, there are no Birkins and there are no Kellys and there are also no Constances, just in case you want a Constance. And then the client was like, well, I didn't ask for a Constance, so like, why do you need to say it like that? And I think that they really want to like, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes the essays at FSH, whenever I'm reading these stories, they just have way too much power. I would love to know what you guys think of this particular story. What do you think happens when you get an appointment, but you haven't clicked with the essay? It's just not going to happen. What do you do then? Are you like this client? Do you let it go and leave with your with your ego intact, or would you try and like butter them up a little bit and be like, look, you know, I'm trying to make this happen or whatever? I feel like my ego would not let me butter them up. If the person tells me, oh no, I don't have any exotics today, I don't have any Kelly Pochettes, or I don't have a shadow Birkin today, no, we don't have any bags today, no, I feel like I would just be like, okay, thank you so much for letting me know, and yeah, have a good day, and I will leave. I would not be able to kind of like start trying to kind of beg that person for a bag, because I feel like that's where you really give them so much power. I would love to know what you think about this story. Make sure you're fully subscribed, hit notification, and give this video a massive thumbs up if you like it. We have so many more stories we need to talk about. People on TripAdvisor are doing way too much. The next story is also from the FSH store. Someone on TripAdvisor was basically saying, look, okay, they bought a belt, okay, and the belt was faulty. They go to Hermes in Selfridges in London, and then someone at the Hermes Selfridges like basically goes off on them, okay, and is like, no, we're not going to help you. And then someone else comes to help. They're complaining about the service, and they're saying how they're going to take Big H to small claims court. If you don't believe me, let me put it up on the screen so you can see. Listen, this person is listening to Tupac, okay? They're listening to Biggie. Okay, they're listening to Nicki Minaj in the car, and they have decided they're going to take Big H to small claims court. First of all, get yourself delisted from the store, taking Big H to small claims court for a faulty belt, okay? Number one. Number two, you are absolutely barking mad if you think that's a good idea to take a massive company that's more than 150 years old to small claims court over a belt. I really want to talk about this because when I read this, I was like, yo, this person is way too much. They're listening to too many rap songs in the car. I listen to rap music every day in the car when I'm driving to work. I bet you they were like, I am taking Big H to small claims court over a belt. In my opinion, and this is my opinion now, of course, the products should be well made. We know, generally speaking, Big H are known for very well made products. But of course, every now and then something might be defective or might be faulty. That's not really a big deal. I don't think that you should be like dramatic about it though in the store, in the boutique, because I think people feed off your energy. So I feel like if your energy is quite dramatic and you're like, well, you need to fix my belt or whatever, I think definitely for those essays, they're like, oh my God, wow, like, you're here whinging and moaning about a belt, and there are people who like spend way more and are not whinging and moaning about things. I would love to know what you think about this story. I would love to know what you think about this person saying they're going to take a Big H to small claims court. Okay, they have absolutely totally lost their minds. You cannot do that. I would also love to know what you think about this, and let me put this to you guys. Do you think that complaining to Big H can get you B-listed from the boutique and from the brand? I have a theory that I think that if you are like, I think if you're one of those whingy people who's constantly moaning and you love a moan and you love complaining, I think that eventually you're going to get, not necessarily B-listed, but they're going to shun you and kind of exile you, okay? And they're going to be like, look, we are not dealing with someone who's constantly whinging and constantly moaning. This person sounds like they are a difficult client anyway. I would love to know what you think. One of the most interesting stories that I found for this video is actually from Hermes Chicago. We're going to talk about the Parisian stores again after I finish talking about the Chicago store. So there was a client who walked into the Chicago boutique. The client said that she was wearing a backpack. We were talking about backpacks yesterday as well, and she was wearing trainers, and she said that she felt like they were looking at her like she was a homeless person, and they were looking at her like she was homeless. So she says she walks into the Chicago store, she takes her backpack, okay, and she says she's like looking for somewhere where she can take off her backpack in the Chicago Hermes boutique, need I remind you. And then she puts it down on a chair, and then an essay pops up out of nowhere and like takes the backpack, I think moves it, and then says that, you know, no one, and then puts a sign that says no one can sit here, basically, on the chair. She felt really offended. She said that her feelings were really, really, really hurt. She said she'd been to more than 50 big H boutiques around the world, and she'd never been treated like the way she was treated at the Chicago boutique. She said she was told, don't wear your designer outfits, your designer garments and bits and pieces in Chicago. So she said that's why she looked like that when she went into the store. And she said that she was made to feel like she wasn't worthy to be in there because she wasn't dressed nicely or whatever. Now, I'm sorry, but when I was reading this review, I was like, no, you are bang out of order. And I'm going to tell you why I think she's bang out of order, and then you guys tell me what you think as well. First of all, okay, in my opinion, you walked into a store with a backpack, which is fine. I love backpacks, so not to get Chanel backpack. But you, instead of just like waiting to be served by an essay or asking an essay like, hello, you know, blah, 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 I'd like to buy this, and then being served, you just took it upon yourself to take off your backpack, okay, put it on the chair, as if that's your place, as if that's your crib, that's your home, as if you live there. And then you're like kind of surprised that the essay is like, no, you know, you can't do that, and like moves your backpack and puts a sign that says, you know, no one is allowed to sit here. Now the sign, putting that sign there, that's a little bit overkill. Okay, so the essay was doing a little bit too much, but I feel like the client was wrong, and I feel like Big H's employees are allowed to respond in kind, in my opinion, if you're doing something which I personally think is actually against kind of retail etiquette. I have never heard that. I mean, for example, just imagine like you're working in a store, a client walks into a store, the client doesn't speak to anyone, the client just presumptuously walks and goes and puts something down on a chair. You don't know, that could be a store display, that could be some sort of installation that's in the store. Why would you just assume that you can go ahead and do that? It doesn't matter. It does not matter, in my opinion, how many Big H boutiques that you have visited like around the world. I think that is so presumptuous. I think that's incredibly rude on behalf of the client. I think the client is rude. I think the essay, she names the essay by name, so I don't want to post the review on here, but it is on the TripAdvisor reviews. And by the way, I have receipts for all of these stories that I have. Like, I take screenshots of them and I save them on my cloud drive in case the people who write them decide to delete them. So everything I can back up with receipts. But I feel like the person was wrong, and I feel like the essay was, I don't feel like the essay is wrong. Maybe it was like a little bit overkill to be like, hey, put a sign there. But you are walking into the Chicago store as if that is your sitting room. Baby, it is not your sitting room. It is a luxury goods store. What do you guys think about this? I bet you that they thought that she also wasn't a client, and they just thought, okay, this person is being a bit weird, okay, we are just gonna make them go away by saying you can't sit here. Now, I don't know about the whole putting the sign there saying you can't sit there. That seems a bit harsh to me. The client, when writing the review, said that she felt that she was judged because she was wearing trainers and she was wearing a backpack. I think that definitely Big H do judge people based on how they dress. I want to put up an excerpt from another review of the FSH boutique, and this person is talking about they basically were just, it was a very long review, but this is one little excerpt, and they basically were just feeling that if you don't like look good, basically, at Big H, like they don't really want to serve people who look, you know, sloppy, for lack of a better word. And that's basically the tone that they were inferring in their review. And they don't really want to serve those people who don't look the way that they think that their clients should look. I think that there are kernels of truth to this point, and I know that this is a very uncomfortable thing. Now, I want to kind of remember when I was living in Paris during my exchange when I was at uni. I spent 6 months in Paris, 6 months in Fort-de-France in Martinique in the French Antilles. And I must say, even in the French Antilles in Martinique, which was a really interesting, great experience, everyone there is very well dressed. Like, people are well dressed, honey. And in Paris, people are well dressed, okay? I would say even in Tanzania, people here are very, very well dressed for all kinds of events, whether it's a wedding, a baptism, a church event, or you're going home to visit your family. People dress well, and I wouldn't necessarily say that clothing and style here is necessarily casual. I think because of globalization, maybe things have become a little bit more casual as time has gone on. But generally speaking, I must say, definitely in my country, Tanzania, people do dress quite formally, I must say, in my opinion. And I definitely noticed that when I was living in Paris, that people look really, really, really nice. I'm not saying that, you know, you're wearing a black tie suit, tuxedo every single day, but I must say that it was very common to see men wearing ties a lot in Paris when I was living there. It was very common to see women looking very elegant, very chic, but looking very formal and put together. Now, I think Big H want clients who look like that. No one's saying you have to wear a ball gown. Not saying that at all. And I would say even for my videos, I look quite casual. Like today, I was like, I'm making a bit of an effort today for you guys, but I would say I look pretty casual in most of my videos. However, I'm going to be changing my fashion looks for this channel in 2022. I'll tell you more about that in another video if you're interested. I'm definitely going to be changing my looks a little bit more to make way more of an effort. And I also think that Big H want clients who look the way that they think that their target client looks. And I know this sounds really harsh, but I don't think that they believe that their target client is wearing trainers and looks extremely casual and has a backpack and takes a backpack off and puts it down on a chair. I don't think that you need to wear a ball gown to go shopping at Big H or any of these luxury stores. But I do believe that these luxury boutiques want people who take a lot of pride in their appearance and look a certain kind of way. I don't think it's about your creed. I don't think it's about your gender, your race, your ethnicity. I think it's about a certain kind of look. I've talked about this before in some of my other Big H videos, and now that I'm going to Paris very soon, I'm not going to leave anything to chance. I'm definitely going to make sure that I look like a very glamorous version of myself, like way more glam than I look now. I would say I look quite casual, like this top is from ASOS, and the tiara is from ASOS, you guys will ask me about it. And I definitely will say I'll be making way more of an effort, not just for Big H, but generally speaking, in all of these luxury stores. I must say, I do remember, when I was living in Paris, I remember that when I dressed up more, I was treated better in boutiques. And the more casual I looked, the more I got just kind of like go away. Now take whatever you want from that. That was my experience. There are going to be some people saying, well, I wore flip-flops and I wore shorts in Paris and everyone was really nice to me. Read between the lines of what I'm about to say and don't be offended now, because this is my genuine experience. I'm the daughter of two diplomats, so I'm not going to say it completely in a way that's going to hurt anyone's feelings. But take what you will from what I'm about to say. I believe because of who I am and the way I look, okay, I have certain features about me that I cannot change. Hint, 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 the color of my skin. And I believe because of those certain features, I was always going to be treated differently. I have a lot of friends who are from France, who are of minority ethnic descent. They have confirmed all of the things that I am hinting about here, that there are certain people, because of the way they look, if they don't dress nicely in boutiques in Paris, they don't get treated as nicely. I'm not going to fight with you guys in the comments now. This doesn't really bother me, I must say, because it just kind of is what it is. When you go to another country, you know, you deal with the ups and the downs of that country. When I was living in Paris, those things that a lot of my French friends of minority ethnic descent said, I found them to be true. I did find that if I looked very, very nice going into French stores, I was treated much better, whether I could speak good French or not. And I found that if I looked a little bit more casual and a little bit more, maybe just like more casual and not as polished, I was kind of given the cold shoulder. Now, we're not going to talk about R-word stuff, okay? We're not going to talk about that in this video because I don't want to derail that. But I think you kind of get what I'm trying to say. Some people say that they've gone into Big H looking super casual. I know many people, okay, who look like me, okay, and have had tough experiences in boutiques when they haven't looked maybe they haven't looked like wow super polished or whatever. They've had a tough experience. You can take whatever you want from that. It's a very controversial thing, but many people of color, we know what time it is. Now, when it comes to Paris, because I've been there before, I used to live there when I was doing my exchange, and I went there with Edwin in 2014. In 2014, the same experiences pretty much happened. The nicer I looked, okay, in stores, the better I was treated. Now, we can talk about whether that's good or bad. I do think, generally speaking, that across the board, regardless of your creed, your ethnic identity, or anything like that, I think generally speaking, a lot of these luxury boutiques around the world, they want people to look very polished and very glam, because I think that is the target that they are going for. What do you guys think about those big H FSH dragging stories of them being dragged? Look, I'm sorry, but the woman in Chicago who put her backpack down without asking for permission, she's bang out of order, okay? She's bang out of order. Look guys, I feel like you need to be respectful when you go into a store. I think she's completely bang out of order. I'm not really against the whole idea of like looking nice to go to designer stores. I know many people are offended by that. I'm not really offended by that, and I think that's because in TZ, here in Tanzania, you have to kind of look nice as well, and it's not even necessarily a thing about your ethnic identity or anything like that. You do have to look nice in order to be treated well. Like, people just kind of respect people who look really, really nice. I know there are going to be some of you saying, well, there are people who don't care about designer clothes, who have tons of money, they can buy everything in the Big H boutique. I've actually just come to a realization. I don't think Big H wants those people. I think Big H wants people who want to buy luxury ready-to-wear, who want to buy luxury timepieces. They want people who want to look very polished and glam. I don't necessarily mean you need to wear tons of logos or anything like that. We've heard about how you're supposed to like look very elegant and wear neutrals and wear silk scarves when you go to Big H. I'm not going to dress like that because that's not my personal style, but I definitely have some looks created for going to all of these Parisian boutiques, and I'm going to do an experiment to prove that everything I've said is correct. I will do an experiment where I've got my looks, honey, okay? I'm looking ultra glam, and then I'll go and I'm looking casual, and I guarantee you it will be the same experience that I've had previously when I was in Paris. And this isn't necessarily just to single out Paris. Like, I think all major cities, including Dar es Salaam, like I'm being honest, in Dar, when you look casual, you walk into like a restaurant here, you're wearing flip-flops, the waiters will look at you like please, this person's not gonna tip me. They're gonna look at you like, you're wearing flip-flops, what are you doing? People here like don't play around. Like, people here look really, really, really nice, honestly. So I just think the whole dressing in the boutique thing is really interesting. There are going to be some of you who are going to be like, well, I walk into stores and I look pretty casual. Good for you. I have found in my experience, when I looked casual, I got ignored. When I looked nice, I put a new wig on, okay, I put makeup on, and I'm looking all glam, that's when I was treated well. So take anything that you want from that, but that has been my personal experience when it has pertained to really like high-end boutiques. Although I must say, I do think that the French department stores like Printemps and Galeries Lafayette, great experiences in there. I feel like in the department stores, it's a bit different because I think SAs in department stores, they know that they're all types of people coming to the boutique. So it's like it's kind of like what I was telling you guys in one of my previous videos about Cartier, Van Cleef & Arpels, and Chopard. A lot of the jewelry maisons, I feel like you could walk into, I personally wouldn't wear trainers going into Cartier, it's just me. But I feel like you could wear trainers going in there because they don't know who's gonna buy that six-figure like necklace. You might be wearing trainers that day, okay? Like I said, I wouldn't wear trainers to Cartier, but I think you can, and I don't think that anyone's going to look at you weirdly because I feel like the jewelry market is very different and the luxury watch market, timepieces and all of that is different. But generally speaking, I do think these SAs and luxury brands do judge people on how they look. I cannot tell you how many reviews I have read where this comes up over and over again, that someone was dressed really, particularly Big H and Chanel, okay? They both get dragged hard, like, oh, I walked into the store, but I was looking really casual that day. You know, I was wearing, you know, trackies and I was wearing trainers and I was ignored. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised. I am not surprised when I read those reviews and they say that, just because, like, Big H and Big C, I feel like they have an image in their head of the way their clients look. Whereas I feel like Balenciaga and Gucci, I feel like you could go in there and maybe look quite casual, but no one's going to be like too judgmental, if that makes any sense. Just before I go, I must say that right now, because I know I'm going to Paris in January, and I'll be going there very soon. It'll be like January, February, something like that. I must say, I feel like there's so much hype around Big H, and I got a really interesting comment from one of you, and you were telling me like, what happens if you don't get the offer? Like, do you feel like you've made all these Big H videos? Do you feel like maybe like you won't get an offer or anything? First of all, I don't feel like I have like a massive platform on YouTube at all. I don't see myself as an influencer. I'm a businesswoman who loves luxury, and I love shopping, and I love brands. That's how I see myself. There are 3,290 of you as of when I was filming this video, and God bless all of you for being here. You might as well be 300,000. That's how it feels like to me. So I don't really think like, oh, like anyone at Big H has watched my videos or anything like that, because I just don't think I have as many subscribers and as many followers, and I'm very much a small channel, and I'm fine with that. I'm very happy with that. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I don't feel like that has any bearing. I think larger channels, definitely Big H knows about larger channels, absolutely. And I do think that there are essays who watch larger channels and maybe don't say, and who follow larger channels on Instagram or TikTok and don't say. But for me, I feel like I'm cool. I feel like I can be quite unfiltered about Big H, because I just don't think that my following is that big. Another thing is, and I said this I think in my video yesterday, but I want to kind of talk about it a little bit more now. Because I'm going to Paris soon, I'm super excited, so I'm more focused on like the shenanigans going on in the Parisian boutique. So in Vlogmas, you're going to be seeing more content about Paris and all of this. But you know, whether I get a bag or not, I'm still gonna like Big H. I'm still gonna follow their shenanigans. Definitely, even if I don't get an offer, I really like their tablewares. I like their stuff for the kitchen. I like their stuff for the home. I like their homewares, and I like their blankets and things like that. So I'll definitely be up for picking up a few bits and pieces when I get to Hermes. Whether or not I get a leather appointment, I will buy a few things from there. Not because I have to or to show on my channel, but because I actually do like a lot of particularly their interior stuff. I really do like that stuff. And I know sometimes like when someone has a channel, you feel like someone is just saying that to say it, but no, I genuinely do like a lot of their homewares. I also saw their new like highlighter. I don't know if I can find a photo. If I can, I'll put it up on the screen. That looks interesting. I think I'll be interested in just testing that out. You know how I feel about Big H's beauty line. I'm not a fan of the way they have launched the whole thing, but I'll be interested to try out some of the things from their beauty line as well. You know, even if I don't get a leather appointment. So for me, if I get an appointment, that's amazing, you know, and if I score, that would be amazing, and I'll be so happy. But if I don't get one, it's not going to affect me, because at the end of the day, Paris is still there, Big H is always going to be there, and for as long as God wants me to have this channel, I will continue to film videos, and I will continue to be here as well, okay? Which can only mean one thing: I will continue to talk about Hermes and showcase anything if I bought anything. So I think for some people, they take it really personally, like if they don't get an appointment and they become super upset. I've already told you before, I refuse to cry or show any emotion in front of an essay. You know, I'll just be like, Edwin, let's go, so I can go back to the hotel and be like, I didn't get a bag. You know, if I didn't get one. I think you're allowed to be upset for a few hours, and then you can forget about it and go buy other things from Balenciaga, from Moschino, from Off-White, from Louis Vuitton. There are lots of things, you know, to buy in Paris. So that's how, I just want you guys to know, don't worry, I'm not like obsessed or anything. And another thing, Big H is not actually my favorite luxury brand. There are a lot of you who are new to my channel. Cartier is my favorite luxury brand. So when I go to Paris, I definitely want to visit Cartier. Cartier is genuinely my favorite luxury house. And I've already told you guys who I probably wouldn't do my trainers going into the Maison at the Place Vendôme when I go to Cartier. I love Cartier so much. So for me, having like an amazing experience at Cartier is way more important than having a great experience at Big H, if that makes any sense. You guys, if you like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We're very active on the Facebook page. There are a lot of you leaving your comments, chatting to me on there. Please consider following me on Facebook and Instagram and checking out my blog as well, because I do update that periodically. Getting ready for Vlogmas. Vlogmas starts next week. I believe it starts on Wednesday, so I hope you guys are ready. So I have this video that I've done today, which is Saturday. I've got another video on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we start Vlogmas. Like, I am just way too excited. I think it's because, like, I know I'm traveling so soon, so I couldn't be more excited about going traveling. So there's gonna be so much great content for Vlogmas and for January, so make sure you stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.